Okay. Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. So let's see if I am actually live. Looks like it. Okay. And yes, we're live. Okay. So today I'm going to continue with my learning process. I'm going to be learning Python today. I'm working with Pop OS. That's a Linux distribution today. So it's a new distro. That's why I'm using it. So let's take a look, shall we? Okay. Okay, looks like we're getting issues now. Come on, this is supposed to be a professional stream. Anyway, I need to share via Python, via Twitter, my learning experience. And by the way, talking about it, Elon Musk bought Twitter yesterday. So Twitter has a new owner now, and it's Elon Musk. And that's pretty much the news from yesterday. There has been a lot of people complaining about it, but most of them don't really have any saying on anything anyway. Okay, looks like yeah, I don't know why that didn't work as intended. But never mind. Okay. I believe it is time to learn. So let's do that. Let's learn. Oh, wait. I'm looking, I am a bit off. Let's see if I can, fix that one. No, this is okay. Well, I guess I can work with that. Okay. So, let's begin by updating the system. Why not? I should actually have the command around here. There we go. And let's see what new updates do I have. Nothing. Okay. By the way, I do have Pop OS 22.04 LTS long-term support, I guess. A new version of Pop OS spring out yesterday, so I'm trying it out now. But never mind. Oh no, that's the wrong window. I do have some lag here, but never mind. No. Whoa, look at that. We do have a... Oh, nice. We do have a... Okay. There are some offers for new courses, but I don't mind me because I already have a lot of courses on the that I bought and I haven't even started yet. So, but if you are interested, you can get courses as low as wow, that's actually quite high considering. Okay. But anyway, let's not get distracted. Today is Python day. So I'm going to continue with my Python course over here. Okay, let's recap very quickly. Wow. Python basics, data types, how to succeed. And I do recall that I haven't taken any notes about this, so I was thinking about maybe not looking, watching again all the videos, but at least overview over here and take notes. Probably I'm going to be rewatching some of the videos, but not entirely. The thing is that if I don't take notes, what am I supposed to be doing here? Memorizing everything the first time I will see it? I'm not even practicing the code, so I may like to do that. Okay, so let's take a recap on data types. Oh wait. Oh wait, never mind. I have the wrong output for the audio, that is. Okay. Okay.
Front, right, front, left.
There we go. Okay, I am still solving some technical issues anyway. Okay, let's fix the camera a little bit, and there we go.
Stands for integer. We also have something called float. We have bool. And these specialized data types.
Okay, I wonder if there is sources. No. Let's take it a little bit back. Okay, so these are the Python data types for version 3, I believe. Okay, and then we do have classes. Yet, if I recall, I vaguely remember. Yeah, now I remember why. Since I already have some notes here, let's open them properly. There we go. So since I already have some notes over here, okay, Python types, numbers. Okay, that's it. I have integers, integer, positive, negative. I wonder if I can make this bigger. I don't think so. Yeah, no, that's just sad. But anyway. Yeah, I don't know why. I can make the entire application bigger, but well, that's okay, I guess. Okay, we have integers, we have floats, we can do arithmetic. Okay. Floor division, no decimals, and returns an integer. Okay, floor division. Okay. So it's basically an integer division. No. Modulo operator is going to give me the reminder of the division. The data types, that's for numbers only. Okay. Basic functions. Pow, I guess. It's 5 to the power of 2. And it's basically the same thing as doing 5 asterisk asterisk 2. So it's the same thing. Absolute value there. Oh my god, again. Okay, absolute, round. defining how many digits to the right side we're going to get. What else? You can convert into binary, into hexadecimal, converting numbers. How old are you? So input is going to print something to the screen, read a value from the keyboard. Okay, so far so good. So we already have some notes over here. Oh wait, I wanna try this. Let's have some fun. Wait, what the hell? Oh, never mind. Okay. Okay. So basically, I wonder if you can see this. What? Oh, never mind. I need to do a little change over here. Wait a minute. There we go. I'm trying to use Epic Pen for this. There we go. Okay. I guess it's way too big. The color that is. There we go. That's more like it. So I am here converting strings to numbers. Okay, that's quite fun, I guess. The risk over here. Well, actually, I don't need to do that. I do have my arrow here. There we go. The risk over here is that if I insert something that cannot translate or convert to a string, from a string to a number, then I'm going to get an exception. So that's going to be an issue here. Another issue I may like to have is here. What's the value of pi? I read and I get that value here. However, over here, well, yeah, this is a conversion here, but the thing is basically the same. If I insert something that cannot be translated, if I do this, wait, what? 3.14, something like this. I guess that's going to be valid. The danger would be what happens when I write or type something that cannot be translated into a or converted into a string. So that's going to be the issue here. If I type something alongside this, something like that, maybe I'm going to get an issue there. So I don't know. But anyway, so what do we need now? Strings. Strings are really important. How? Strings on Python are stored as sequences of letters in memory. Okay, a sequence of letters in memory. Okay. Type hello. I wonder if this command is going to print something on the console. I'm not sure. Maybe I may like to try that one. Actually, let's figure it out. I think I added replet. Okay. There we go. Let's delete all this. And let's try this one here. Let's run it. Oh wait, now this is just going to get the type of whatever is inside the parentheses. So I need to actually order this to print whatever this. Okay, what does it say? Invalid. I guess I'm going to need to do this. Oh wait, no, that's inside a comment. There we go. That should run. So I am asking Python to print the result of this function, which is basically, I can barely see it there. Let me try to make this bigger. I should be able to make this bigger. Font size is already huge. I will doubt it, but anyway. Let me, okay, like this. Font size is huge already. That's all I can change? Okay, never mind then. Okay, so this is giving me the actual type of whatever is inside here. So it's going to give me a string. I am thirsty. This is escaping characters. This is escaping the new line character. This is escaping the tab character. Okay, so far so good. And here is the part where I basically end up confused because I don't really understand this. I understand the fact that you can store. Oh, come on! Wow, are you for real? Okay, that you can store a value here on this variable, and this is a string. You store it inside the name variable. Can I do this a little bigger? I can, but it's a mess. I just want to be able to increase the font size of my of the font size basically when I'm previewing, but never mind, I guess. Okay, so we do have here an index or an array lookalike. Basically, index is number 4, and I guess A is this variable name is holding this value over here. All of this value. This is a string value, and I guess it's getting E because A is 0. Let's come again. A is 0. N D R A I. So basically here is 0. 1, D is 2, R is 3, E is 4, and so E is the value that is going to be pulled out basically over here. But now we do have a semicolon over here, and this is something I don't really understand. If you use a semicolon, you are getting the entire string. If you are using a number, in this case 1, on the left side, by some reason I'm getting just the entire string, but I'm missing the first character. So I need to know. Well, I guess I do understand now, because the next example is on the right side. So basically, this line over here is telling me, you know what? Print every single character but the first character, or the index number 1. And the second is print only the first character. And then we have a -1 here, a -1. So I guess if I'm using negative numbers, I'm beginning from the end to the start. So from the right side of the string, the first character on the right side of the string is going to be an E, and that's what I'm getting here. And then we are getting more, this thing is going to be more complicated, because with 2 semicolons and a number 1, I'm getting the entire string over here again. But now with a negative number, I'm getting the same string but in reverse, I guess. And with 3 numbers separated by semicolon, I'm getting this. I don't know. So this is the part where I'm having issues trying to understand. But never mind, let's go back. I do have a quick refresh. Let's see, operator precedence, math function variables, expression versus statements. This is a really good video, because it's not just for Python. This video is great for explaining the difference between expressions and statements for any programming language that use those terms. Basically, if I recall correctly, an expression is whatever code that when it's solved or is executed returns a value. And a statement is a single line of code that may contain expressions. That's basically it. Let me rewatch it because I may be...
Let's learn another important key term. Well, two for that matter. One is expressions and the other one is statements. You're going to hear this a lot when talking to programmers. So,
oh wait, I forgot something. I am sharing on Facebook, but I don't remember sharing on Facebook. So maybe I'm just going to do so now. There we go. Okay, so I am on Facebook now. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's check the output. Oh my God, it's 60 frames. Are you kidding me? This is not good, but never mind. Well, the thing is, I am streaming at 60 FPS. I don't know why. Because I was playing a video game yesterday. I remember now. Anyway, I should be streaming at 30. I'm sorry.
what do they mean? Let's have a look. If we create a piece of code here, let's just say IQ is 100. IQ has lowered. And then let's say user age is going to equal IQ divided by 5. An expression is this part of the code. It's a piece of code that produces a value. In our case, this produces a value, right? Because 100 divided by 5 is going to equal 20. So this is an expression. A statement, on the other hand, is an entire line of code. Not this entire thing, but an entire line of code that performs some sort of action. In this case, what action are we performing? Well, the action is that we're calculating 100 divided by 5 and then assigning that value to the variable user age. So this is an expression. This is a statement. And also this is another statement. So if you hear me mentioning these terms throughout the course, hopefully now you know what they mean. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Okay. Okay, let's recall back here.
A statement, on the other hand, is an entire line of code. Not this entire thing, but an entire line of code that produces a value. And is this part of the code. Divided by 5. And then let's say user age is going to equal IQ divided by 5. An expression is this part of the code. It's a piece of code that produces a value. In our case, this produces a value, right? Because 100 divided by 5 is going to equal 20. So this is an expression. A statement, on the other hand, is an entire line of code. Not this entire thing, but an entire line of code that performs some sort of action. In this case, what action are we performing? Well, the action is that we're calculating 100 divided by 5 and then assigning that value to the variable user age. So this is an expression. This is a statement.
Okay. So basically an expression is a piece of code that returns a value that will be considered this part over here. And an expression is an entire line of code, a line that may be all of this, that produce or makes an action. So that's the difference basically. Okay. Let's try to move on with the overview. Augmented assignment operator. The name doesn't make me remember clearly what this is about. Let's try.
Welcome back. I want to quickly talk about something called augmented assignment operator.
Oh, I remember now.
Like some value.
Yeah. This is the plus equals that we see in C lookalike programming languages. Basically, it's the replacement for you want to increment a variable. Instead of repeating the name of the variable 2 times, you just type the name of the variable, then plus, or the whatever operator you want to apply, equals then the number. Basically, that statement on line number 3 can be replaced by some underscore value equals some underscore value plus 2. So basically, this is going to save you some typing, but it's not required. And it may arguably be confusing for newcomers or people that is not familiar with this kind of thing. Augmented assignment operator, okay. Strings, 5 minutes.
All right, we're almost kind of flying through this. I know we're going slow here, but so now if I print the long string and I click run, look at that. My little weird emoji face is printed. So the 3 single quotes is for long strings that I can keep going on multiple lines. For example, I can't do this with a single quote. You see that the orange color is not because Python is going to say this is a new line and this is another line, and it's going.
Yeah, I do remember this because it was an issue when I first encountered programming with Python. Basically, you can create strings in Python, and most of the strings can be a single line. But if you need to create a multi-line string, you can basically create that with the triple single quote or the triple double quote, and you can surround that in triple double quote or triple single quote and have your multi-line string that way. If I recall, there is also escape characters, but escape sequences. Type conversion, string concatenation, that's important.
Welcome back.
Let's
I want to
see.
touch on the subject of what we call string concatenation. Yes, programmers love creating really complex names when concepts may not be as complex. So what does string concatenation mean? Well, it simply means adding strings together. So I can do hello plus Andre, and I've concatenated the string. I've added 2 strings together. So if I print this, I get hello Andre. So if you ever hear people talk about string concatenation, that's what they mean. We're concatenating strings. By the way, what do you think will happen if I do hello plus 5? If I click run,
Doesn't work.
I get type error. Must be string, not int. So it looks like string concatenation only works with strings. We'll explore that a little bit more in the next video.
Okay, type conversion, which is basically
Remember in Python that string
a Java type cast. So
is written as
I
str.
can skip this one.
Well, we convert 100 into a string, then convert it back into an integer.
Escape sequences.
Welcome back. Let's talk about something called escape sequences in Python.
Okay.
Comment this out. And let me ask you a question. What if we wanted to have a string that tells me, let's say, the weather? And here we want to write, it's sunny. You see how the highlighting changed here? Because I want to say it's with an apostrophe S. But Python is reading this and saying, okay, this is the start of the string and this is the end of the string. And then I have no idea what this is, and then we're starting a string again. How can we fix this? Well, we can add a double quote string instead, and this now works. But what if for some reason we also wanted to add it's kind of sunny in quotation marks? Well, now we have another issue. So how can we solve this? Because in human language, we have double quotes and apostrophes. Well, we can use escape sequences here. And this is a little hard to understand at first, but it's simply adding a slash like this. So the one right above your enter on the keyboard. So this slash, when Python goes through it, is going to say, all right, whatever comes after this, I recognize the symbol. Whatever comes after this, I'm going to assume it's a string. So now if I do backslash here and then backslash here, it's going to say, hey, Python, I'm letting you know whatever comes after this is a string. I'm letting you know whatever comes after this is a string. And then I'm letting you know what comes after this is a string. So that when we print the weather, everything is printed nicely. Awesome. Now, this escape sequence can be used in multiple ways. For example, if I want to have an actual backslash, well, I can go like this. And because it's saying whatever comes after this is a string, it's going to assume that this is a string now. So if I run this, you see that we get this backslash. And there's a few other neat tricks that you can do with it. For example, one of it is the backslash T.
That's
what
a
does that
tab.
mean? Well, let's remove this for now. There you go.
Okay. Well, basically that's escape sequences, just like in many other programming languages. You know, Java, C, C++, C Sharp, or C-like languages, JavaScript, even SQL have escape sequences. Formatted strings, I remember this was important.
So that if I click run, there you go.
No.
100 years old. As you until now, we've just written simple strings. But we want a program that's dynamic, that's static. Let's say we have a Amazon page, and we're working on Amazon actually. And when a user logs into their profile, well, we want to display their name or what they have in the cart. In that case, we don't want to just hard code and write every single user's name, like Andre, or another user, Joe, and write every single name in the world. No, ideally, what we can do is have something dynamic, where let's say it's a profile page, and we simply use the name variable, and we display that on the page. Now, this name variable should equal whatever the user's name is. And this is something that we can grab from the database, again, something that we'll talk later on in the course. But let's assume that in here, when we do equals, we're going to grab some user information, which will be the name. And this name, for now, will be John, or let's go Johnny. And this Johnny, we want to display on the profile page. And we can do that with formatted strings. We can simply do something like print, and then say name. but we also want to greet that person, right? So let's do hi, and then plus name. And remember to add a space. If I click run, I get hi, Johnny. But as we get more and more information, let's say we have age, and Johnny is 55. If I wanted to extend the sentence, and I want to say you are, and then add another plus, make sure we add a space in here, and then add old.
You need to convert that one.
All right, we get a type error. It must be string, not int. Oh boy. All right, so we have to convert this into a string. So remember, we can do that like this. And then if I click run, hi, Johnny, you are 55 years old, or years old. All right, that was a little cumbersome. But we're making our Amazon page dynamic. We can grab different information from the database, and we'll have in a string something according to the user. But there's a better way of doing this. And with formatted strings, all we need to do is add an f at the beginning. And this f at the beginning is going to tell Python, hey, this is going to be a formatted string.
It's going to format the
Instead of doing all this plus and name and all this stuff, and doing the str to convert the type, we can simply do something like this. Let's remove this and simply do brackets.
Ah, yeah, I remember now.
And then again, remove all of this and say age.
Age.
So I'm going to say, hi, name, you are age, years old. And if I click run here, you see that it still works. This is a
And I don't need to convert.
By adding f to the beginning, it's saying, hey, this is going to be a formatted string. And I want you to just make these variables available as strings inside
available.
This
Lots of
string. How
strings.
much cleaner is that?
And have it clean.
Now, although this is nice and clean, and this is my preferred way of writing strings, before Python 3, you didn't really have this. So in Python 2, and mind you, this works in Python 3 as well, as you can see, we had something different to accomplish this.
Yeah, I'm not going to review Python 2 right now because I'm going to be working on 3. And when the time comes, I'm going to be back to this if needed. The string indexes, this is new.
Absent sentences. And strings underneath the hood are stored in memory, as I said, as an ordered sequence of characters. So for example, if I had the string me, then this will be stored in our computer's memory in an order. So M will be stored in a place in memory, and after that place in memory, E will be stored, then the space will be stored, and then M, then E, then space, then M, then E. So if you think of a bookshelf, each one of these is ordered in a different part of the bookshelf, but one after another. And the way we can think about this is like this. The M is stored in location 0, and then E is stored in location 1, and then space is stored in location 2, and so on and so forth. And each shelf now corresponds to a value. So that when we ask the computer, hey, I want you to grab this string, we know that, hey, we're going to look in the shelf 0 to 7. Now, why is this important? Because one of the most useful things you can do with strings is to access different part of a string using its what we call an index. So for example, when you have a string, and let's call this variable, or this piece of string, selfish. And selfish has me. And I'm going to comment this out, just like this. Make sure it's aligned, okay? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say selfish, and then square brackets right here, and then type in 0. Now, if I print this,
yeah, I'm getting the first M.
check that out. I get the letter M. Why is that? Well, using the square brackets, I'm telling the computer, hey, grab the variable selfish. And then from that variable selfish, grab whatever is an index of 0. And what's on that bookshelf of index of 0? Well, the letter M. What if I do 7? What do you think will happen? If I click run, I get E, because on the bookshelf of number 7, that's E. And when I'm getting just selfish, I get the entire string. It's
nice.
Right, I'm going to grab from the bookshelf index of 0.
Yeah, because it's the entire,
very
the entire string.
And this concept, we're going to explore throughout the course, and you're going to see why it's important very soon. But using this knowledge, we can do a lot of string manipulation. And Python has this unique feature that we're going to talk about right now that allows us to grab different pieces of text. So let's have a look here. The rule here is when we use square brackets in Python, the first item that we put between the square brackets is what we call the start. The start is, hey, where do you want me to look? In our case, we said we want to look at 0, so we got M. We want to look at 7, we got E. But then there's an extra thing that we can do. If we do a colon here, we also have the option to say, hey, where to stop.
Oh, okay, start and stop.
And you know what, let's change this to
oh, now I get it.
5, 6, 7, just so it's easier to understand. If I do, let's say, 0, colon.
Start 0 and 2 is the end. I get it.
So I get to grab 0.
0, 1. Oh, but it's not including 2 itself.
So if I do 0 to 7, what do you think will happen? Well, I click run.
Oh,
and I get
through 6.
6.
Yeah, 7 is not included.
The full string, we have to do 0 to 8 because there's actually 8 characters here, right? Because we start from 0.
Yeah.
I click run.
Oh, is the index a start, and how many characters do you want?
And the step over says, hey, start here, and then step over a few things. So the default is 1 because we're going 1 by 1.
Stop and a step over.
You see that we get the entire string.
Wait, go back.
It steps over by 2. So I grab 0, looking at here. And this is called the step over. And the step over says, hey, start here, and then step over a few things. So the default is 1 because we're going 1 by 1.
Okay. Step over.
The entire string. But if I add 2 here, it steps over by 2.
Yeah, so it steps over by 2.
1, 2.
Okay, I get it now.
2, grab 4, step over, and so on and so forth. So let me ask you a couple of tricky questions here. What happens if I do this? Is this valid? If I click run, what will happen? Ready to guess? I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7.
Starts.
This says, hey, start at 1, so that is right here.
Yeah.
afterwards,
I don't
stop.
define
There's
where
nothing there,
to
so the default
stop.
is going to say go all the way to the end.
Yeah,
I know
I
this is
get
easy,
it.
but hang in there. Practice this often enough, and this will
Start.
become second nature.
How many
Okay, what
characters
if I do something like
and
this? Let's
step
go
over?
start and do 5 here. What happens now? Ready?
Stop at 5.
I get 0, 1,
Start
2,
at
all the way
default
until-
1.
So it starts as default 0 and goes to 5.
Actually.
Okay, what if I do something like this? 2 semicolons and then 1. If I do
Stepped over
I get
the entire.
behavior. Because it's starting at 0 when there's nothing. It ends at whenever the string ends, when there's nothing, and then we're stepping over to it once.
Step over
Right.
1.
What if we do something like this? What if I do -1 here? This is a tricky one. What will happen? Let's find out. I get 7. In Python, the negative index means, hey, start at the end of the string. So that if I do -2, I get 6. If I do -3, I get 5, because I'm going backwards. And a neat trick that you can do here is if we do semicolon, semicolon, -1, and this is actually quite a common operation, so you just have to memorize this, even though it looks weird. It means start, stop, there's no limit here, but I want to step over from the back. So what do you think will happen here? If I click run,
So I'm getting
do you see that?
the
You get
reverse.
function.
Yeah, I
So this
get
is a very
it.
useful notation if you want
That's
to,
a
let's say,
useful
reverse
notation.
And if we want to, let's say, skip by 2,
Okay.
I click run, and you see that we're skipping by 2 now. Now, hopefully your head doesn't hurt with all this notation. You just have to get used to it. It's something quite unique to Python, but it's very, very useful.
I get it. Now I understand that part. Now I get it. Now I understand this. So this is start, a stop, and a step over. So you're going to start at 0, a stop at 10, and a step over 2. So which means that I'm getting A, 1, 2, R. No, it's D actually. Okay, so I'm getting A, then 1, 2, inclusive, I guess, and getting D, 1, 2, and getting E, 1, 2, and getting a space, 1, 2, and getting E again, and I guess I already stopped at 10. 1, 2, 3, I mean 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's not inclusive really, but anyway, I think I get it. And okay, if a step over is negative, I am starting from the end backwards basically. Okay, in steps of 1 by 1 from the end, okay, to the beginning. Okay, it is called slicing. And okay, this semicolon means that it's called slicing. It has the format a start, end, and a step over. Hi there, Timmy. Hi there, Timmy. This is called a string concatenation. Okay. Oh, look at this. I can actually make some arithmetic here. I may multiply this character 10 times and I get in 10. Okay, I guess basic functions are next. Immutability, okay.
So up until now, we learned that strings can be accessed quite easily. And using the square brackets, we can access different parts of the string. And this idea of a start, a stop, and a step over is what we call slicing, or string slicing, because we can slice the string however we like. But we also need to learn another important term that's going to come up again and again throughout this course. And as a matter of fact, it's an important concept that as you get more advanced into programming, you really need to understand. What is this concept? Well, it's this idea of immutability. It's an important term in programming. What does immutability mean? Well, strings in Python are immutable. That means they cannot be changed. What do I mean by that? Now that we've assigned selfish this value, this string, well, I can reassign it, right? I can say selfish is 100 now. And if I print selfish and I click run, that works. But if I instead do something like the first index of selfish is going to equal 8, and I click run, I get an error. I get a type error saying
I cannot
string object is
change
not
that.
item assignment. Why is that? Because strings are immutable. That is, I cannot change the value of this once it's created. I can't just immediately change it to 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it has to stay the same. The only way that I can remove this or change this is to completely reassign the value.
Oh no.
So that in memory, Python removes all of this from our bookshelf of memory and instead just assigns 8 into
A
the
new
bookshelf
object.
and removes everything else because we don't use it anymore. Now, this idea of immutability is something we'll explore more and more, especially when we start talking about lists. But for now, just remember that you can't reassign part of a string. Once created, it exists like that in that form. The only way we can change it is to create something new. We can do selfish plus 8, and we can create it that way. But now, this selfish is a whole new string. This no longer exists, and a whole new shelf space was created for us to use this whole new string. Again, if this doesn't make sense to you or why it's important just yet, don't worry. We'll get there. For now, though, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Welcome back. So far, we've learned a few built-in functions that Python has. Few built-in actions, right? Actions that we can take on data. And we learned about str, we learned about int, we learned about float, and the type conversion that we can do. We also learned about type, we also learned about print. And these built-in functions in Python, well, there's a few of them. And I'll link to this resource, but there's not too many. As a matter of fact, we've also seen ones like ABS or round in our numbers video. So numbers had some functions that we can use, some built-in functions. Well, strings also has a very useful one called len, which stands for length. So as you guessed it, if I type in something like this and I print this out, and I click run, I get 9 because it's calculating the length of the string. In our case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The length of the string is 9. Now you have to be careful here because the length itself doesn't start at 0 as we've seen with indexes. Instead, it starts like humans do from 1.
That's
so a neat thing to do
9.
here is I can do something like this. Let's say that we have a variable greet that equals hello. Well, I can grab the greet variable, which is a string, and use string slicing to grab, well, the first and then go all the way until the end. Now the default already does this. If I leave it like this, it's going to grab hello. Oh, make sure I add a bracket here. Let's click run. I get hello. Now, if I do 0 to length of greet, what does that mean? Well, if I click run, I still get hello because the length of greet
is the length
9.
of greet. It's 9. Okay.
Like so. Now, this length function is quite useful, and we're going to use it a lot in this course. But I want to introduce to you the concept of built-in functions, as well as what we call built-in methods. What does that mean? A built-in function had the syntax of the word that was highlighted in blue, and then we used curly brackets to perform some action on a data type. However, Python also has this idea of methods. And methods are similar to functions, but they are owned by something. So for example, in Python, we have string methods. So these are methods or actions that only strings can perform. And don't worry, this is something that we'll talk more about when we talk about classes and functions. But for now, Python, for example, has string methods. So these are methods that we can use specifically for strings. And methods have a special syntax, where instead of just the word with the curly brackets, it usually has a dot in front of it. So dot, and then some sort of word, and we've actually seen one. Format, right?
Yeah.
Format, curly brackets, or brackets
That's a method.
is a method. And if I go to Python, string methods,
It belongs
scroll down
to a
or scroll
string.
up, you see that format specific values in a string is a method. Now, why do we care? Well, with this, Python gives us automatic tools that we can use on strings. So let's explore some of these string methods. Let's create a quote here. And the quote is going to be or not to be. Now, in here, with this quote, we can use some methods on this string. Now, I'm not going to go through everything because, well, 60% of these you're most likely never going to use in your career. I'm going to go over the important ones that you'll see over and over.
You will be
again. I'll also
amazed.
link to this so that you can see this for yourself as a reference. Remember, as a programmer, your job is not to memorize this and read a language like you need a dictionary. Instead, is to know that this resource exists and it's for you to explore and learn as a specific problem occurs. But let's get back to the task at hand. One thing that we can do is to use the upper method. We use a dot and then type in upper and then the curly brackets. And luckily for us, our editor shows us that this actually exists because of the dropdown menu. So what happens now? If I print this and I click run, look at that, everything gets capitalized, to be or not to be. There is also another one we can use called capitalize. What's the difference between the two? Well, if I run, you see that it capitalizes the beginning of the sentence. And by the way, your editor, or in our case, our REPL, if you hover over this, it'll actually tell you what it does. It returns a capitalized version of S. So whatever is to the left of the dot. And a good editor will actually show you all the things available to you. So as soon as you press a dot, look at that. I see all these purple boxes, which are methods that are available to me for a string. And you see there's a lot of them. Now, don't worry about these double underscores, these dunder methods, because this is something that we'll talk about when we talk about classes. But you can see that you have different things that you can use. For example, you have lower. Instead of upper, it lowercases everything. What if I want to use find, for example? And find simply says, hey, does B exist in the code to be or not? And if I click run, well, it tells me that, yes.
It starts at
find
3.
has a B, and it starts at index of 3. So if I go to 0, 1, 2, and then look at that, 3. So
3.
we have find, which finds us the first occurrence of a piece of text. You also have things like replace, where I can replace whatever I give it as the first thing, and then separate it to the second thing. So you can see over here, it tells me old, and then comma, new. And I can replace this with me. If I click run, I get to me or not to me. So this replaces all the occurrences of B. Now, the final thing I want to point out to you is that if I print here, quote, what do you think is going to happen? I've printed here, and I replaced to me, to be or not to be, with to me or not to me. What is selfish? But if I print this again on the 5th line, what do you think will happen? Let's find out.
I don't know.
Whoa. Is this what you expected? Think about
No.
why this might happen based on what we've learned.
It's
Here's
immutable.
the thing. Remember, strings are immutable. That is, they cannot be changed. We can overwrite them if we want, but we don't change them. We either create them or destroy them. In our case, when we do quote dot replace to me or not to me, it's creating a new string. Now, we're not assigning the string to anything. So eventually, after we print it, we remove it from memory. But if I do something like this, where I have quote 2 equals quote dot replace, and I print
Now I can refer to
well,
it.
in our case, we're creating a whole new string. We're creating a string, but we never modify the original string because it's immutable. So that quote always stays the way it is until we destroy it, until we remove it. Our program ends. This is going to exist. All right. Hope you're having fun. Hang in there. More to learn in the next video.
Booleans, okay. We do have Booleans here now.
All right. So up until now, we've spent forever talking about numbers and strings, and you're thinking, oh God, we have so many more to go through, and my head hurts already. Well, you know what? I think you're going to really, really like this one because this one's really, really short. And they're called Booleans. And Booleans in Python is bool. And bool, well, there's only two options. A bool can either be true
or false. Okay.
That's it. How awesome is that? You just learned Booleans. So a Boolean I can assign to, let's say, my Facebook profile. I can say Andre, or I can say name equals Andre. And make sure that we form this into a string. And then I can say, well, let's say we're creating an even better social network than Facebook. We're creating our own. And this social network also has the is cool option on your user profile. And let's say for now it's false. You see over here that's being highlighted. Now is cool is set to false. But all of a sudden I'm thinking, my profile doesn't look good if is cool is set to false. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to say is cool is now equal to true. Now my profile has been changed to is cool is true. Hooray. And that's it. Booleans represent this idea of true and false, which in programming is kind of like saying 0 and 1. They're logical values, right? There's some logic that we can use. And we'll see when we talk about conditionals in upcoming videos, where Booleans become really, really useful because we can use Booleans to control the flow of our program, to do something if something is true, to do another thing if something is false. It's a cornerstone of computer science. And by the way, a topic we're going to explore more and more is this idea of using Booleans to denote logic. So for example, what do you think a bool of 1, converting 1 to Boolean would do? If I print this and I click run, I get true.
True,
and Boolean 1 means true. A 0, well, that equals.
Oh, interesting.
And remember, we're just simply converting this integer into a Boolean value. And a Boolean, well, is just either false or true. Nothing else. That's it. And I can also convert a string that says true into a Boolean true. Again, this is something we're going to explore a little bit more when we talk about conditional logic. But I wanted to make this video nice and short to let you know that, hey, not all these data types are as complex as, well, numbers and strings. All right? Nice and short. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
So we do have Booleans.
Welcome back. So
I guess that I need to recap here a little bit. Okay, basic functions, string formatting. This is important here. This here. Palindromy check. Can I check that? Oh, look at this. It's a bool. I can cast the entire expression as a Boolean. And whatever word, which is this, reviver, okay, find. That's a method for the string object. Oh, come on. Okay, strings, I guess. Where was I? There we go, here. So I'm getting here. Okay, it's going to cast whatever this entire expression spits or returns. It's going to, if it's 0, it's going to be false. If it's something different than 0, it's going to be true. Okay, and then the word reviver find this very same word that is not going to, is going to start at 0. It's going to end at the last character of the string, and it's going to start from the end of the string backwards, I guess. It's good. Okay. +1. I wonder, this +1 is because whatever this is going to return is going to be -1 because this is going to start at 0. Okay. If the find method finds the word, then I'm going to need to add 1, but why inside here? Okay, let's see this. Okay, I can actually copy. I guess it's going to run anyway. So it's not a matter of it's going to run, it's a matter of why does it run. Okay, it's true. Why? I guess I can print print all of this first. Let's try to print it. Okay. Okay, it's printing 1. Why? Because it starts at 1. Ah, I get it. Because it's going to start at 0, really. It's going to return where the string is going to start. Since it starts at 0, 0 is going to be negative. So, I mean, it's going to be false. So that's why I'm adding a 1. And if it doesn't find anything, the method is going to return 0 by itself. For example, if I add something here, it's going to return 0. This part over here is going to return 0. Or no, that's not the case. This part over here is not going to be found because it's reversed. Then this never happens really. So find is going to return a 0 directly. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, I get it. Find a palindromic okay, it's a nice little program. And I guess I'm not smart enough to figure out that by myself, but never mind. Okay, Boolean, this is casting. That's what we use up here. Bool true, bool false. Let's go back to the video.
Up until now, we've learned about integers, floats, strings, and Boolean values. So let's try and tie some of those things together. Let's imagine you are Facebook. How do you think Facebook works underneath the hood when it comes to your profile? Well, they would have, let's say, a variable called name, and this will have your name. And they'll probably have a variable with your age. Let's say 50. I'm not actually 50, but I'm pretending to be for this case, just so I sound wiser. And then let's say relationship status. So again, we also have relationship status on Facebook. And for now, let's say single. So that's my Facebook profile right there. Now, if we wanted to perhaps change that, let's say my relationship status all of a sudden goes from single to it's complicated. Well, that's an easy fix. We would just do relationship status equals to it's complicated. And remember, because of the single quote,
you can escape it.
It's complicated. And now if I print my relationship status, you'll see that it's been updated to it's complicated. I am no longer single. Hooray. But this is pretty simple. Let's do something more complicated. And this is going to be a fun exercise. Let's create a program that guesses your age. Let's use the input method that we've seen before. Remember, the input method allows us to type something in here and receive it as input. So we can assign that to a variable. So let's say this variable is going to be birth year. And that's going to equal the input. That's going to ask when or what year were you born. Now, from here, I want you to pause the video and try to solve this yourself. How can you make it so that at the end of this program, you're going to get asked what year were you born? You're going to type in your year, and then it's going to print out your age is whatever the age is. So pause the video, try and solve this on your own. Mind you.
Okay, let's try to do that one. Yeah, why not? So birth year, input. Okay, let's try that one. I wonder how do I autocomplete that? Okay, with the mouse? Oh no, never mind, didn't autocomplete anything. Okay, so here... Oh wait. What's your age? If I remember, I need to escape this one here. No. Okay. What's your age? Is that it? No. It's an input. Birth year. Yeah. What's your age? It's not going to do anything else. And that's it. Okay. So first, I may like to recall the date-time data types from this. Okay, let's try again. I don't see date or time. Well, let's say that is going to be an integer. So let's call it age is going to be equals current year. How do I get current year? I can, I guess, hard code it here, you know, but I may like to put, well, let's do it like that because I guess he's going to do it like that, but this is not dynamic. A year from now, this is not going to work anymore. It's going to be off by 1 year and the next year is going to be off by 2 years. I know that. So my age is going to be equals 2022 minus whatever my birth year is. Okay, so now I'm going to print the age. I wonder if that's going to work. It's going to be text. So birth year needs to be converted back to an integer. And I wonder if I can print out the age directly because it's integer. Okay. What's your age? Oh no, wait, no, that's the wrong question. It was your birth year. And it's like this? No, it's separate. Okay. Let's try again. Okay. I am 41. I am older. Well, not 41 yet until May, late May 2022. I'm going to be 41. Anyway, so that works. I guess that I don't really need to convert from integer to text because this is going to do it for me. I guess print is doing some automatic casting here. Some automatic type conversion over here, so I don't need to worry about it.
There is a bit of a trick in here. So if you get stuck, try to Google around and figure out what the issue may be. Again, part of being a programmer is trying to solve these.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Let's see. Python get current year. It must be okay. Dot year. Okay, looks like there is a very simple example here. I need to include a library. Let's make this a little bigger. Wow. Okay. Not what I was expecting, but anyway. Okay. I need to import a library. Store the current year. Okay. No. Okay. So I guess like this, current year is equals to date, today, year. Okay. So instead of 2022, I should use current year, and this should work pretty much the same. 41, and it actually works. Okay, fine. Just some Googling, and I was able to figure it out.
Right, let me show you my solution. We have our birth year here that we're going to store in a variable. And now we're going to calculate the age. I'm going to say age equals, well, it's going to equal the current year, let's say 2019. And then 2019 here is going to get subtracted from whatever the birth year that you enter. So let's enter that. And then we're simply going to say print your age is, and we want to use an F string here. So I'm going to add an F here, and then simply say age. If I run this, I get, what year were you born? I was born in 1986. We get an error. And if you try this yourself, you may have encountered this error. We get something called a type error. And there's lots of errors that you can get in Python. Again, we have a section on error, so don't stress too much about it. But if you read here, it says unsupported operand type S for minus, int, and string. Let's try and debug this. It looks like we're using minus on an integer and a string. So let me print out here the type of birth year. If I run this, and let's enter 1986, I get class string.
It's a
and this
string.
is a little gotcha. Because what input does is it asks you for an input. But that input that I wrote, 1986, well,
it's not a number.
Gets converted to a string and assigned to birth year. So what that means is that we're trying to subtract a number or a string from a number. So how do we solve this issue? Well, you have to turn this into an integer. And this is something that we saw previously. What we need to do is to convert this into an integer with using the int function. So let's try that. If I remove this and click run, I'll say 1986. And look at that. Your age is 33. We've created a program that was able to tell your age based on the year that you were born. Now, this may have been tricky to you, but it teaches an important concept in programming. That is, sometimes you're storing data into different data types. And sometimes you need those different data types to interact together. So you'll see a lot of problems where you have to convert a data type. And this is a very common one where you take an input that's a string and then you convert it to something like an integer. So you can perform a mathematical operation. And that's why, if you remember, we gave you a list of all our data types in Python, the fundamental data types, and all of them were blue because, well, each one of these are actions, are functions that we can use. For example, I converted the birth year into integer. But I could have also converted this to a float, for example. And if I run this, it would still work because Python knows that well, we can use integers and floats in mathematical operation, but you can see here that it's converted into a float now. If we convert this into a Boolean, and I click run, your age is 2018. That's really confusing, right? Well, that's because this gets turned into true, and underneath the hood, Python does something weird, where a true value is converted to 1. Because Boolean...
okay, it's 1 or 0.
Right. Hopefully this didn't confuse you too much. It's something that we'll encounter throughout the course, so don't worry. We'll get more and more practice. However, I hope you get to practice this a little bit to really understand what's going on. Because although this is a couple of lines of code, the principles that we use here, we're going to use...
2018. This video comes from 2018. Oh, God. That this course is at least 4 or 5 years old.
So I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Okay. I guess it's still relevant.
Let's talk about another developer fundamental. And this one is commenting your code. Up until now, you may have seen me add comments to our scripts. For example, right here, I added a comment of Booleans. And this tells the Python interpreter, hey, this is a comment, don't run this. It's just for me. You can just ignore it and skip over to line 2.
It's a bash, a C style comment.
Python sees a £, it adds a comment. And you can do that after a line as well. I can say
C or bash
or
Unix. Okay.
And although this may look like 2 lines, it's actually just
just one. Yeah.
You can see that the interpreter just completely ignores these comments. Now, commenting sounds very, very simple, but it's an important concept. And if you want to be a good programmer in all languages, we have commenting. But there's good ways and bad ways of commenting. And this is something that comes with practice. But here are some key guidelines. When you're commenting your code, the idea is that you're adding valuable comments. That is, if I add a comment that says, hey, this is assigning variable a value of Andre string.
I can already see that.
Is not really good. Why?
No.
Well, because your code should be self-explanatory, right? The idea is for us to write code that is easy to read, easy to understand. It's not trying to be clever. Instead, it should read like English. And any Python programmer would know that here we're just simply adding Andre as a value of name. We're assigning a variable. And adding a comment like this that's self-explanatory just adds clutter to your code. So there's a trade-off here. It's good to comment your code for, let's say, if you're working on teams and other developers come and they want to understand your code. But you have to remember this principle of code being easy to read. The only time you want to add comments to your code is, well, when something really, really important is happening, where it might be a little complex. You first decide, hey, is this code written in a way that makes sense? For example, if this was variable A and this was variable B, well, this might be really hard for somebody to understand. So you might say that this is cool flag. But before you add that comment, you want to say to yourself, maybe my code is hard to read. Maybe I should just change the variable to is cool to make it more understandable. Now, this is something that you improve upon more and more. And you do want to use comments as an extra tool to make your code understandable. Maybe you write code that 6 months from now, you want to go back to understand what you did.
Yeah.
But remember, more comments.
A quick reminder is useful.
You want to be concise and keeping things simple, while adding comments only when necessary to help others understand your code, not trying to make your unreadable code more readable. We'll explore this topic and give you advice on it throughout the course. But remember this key developer fundamental, because you're going to need it throughout your career. By the way, this article over here has some really important points that I think you'll really benefit from, especially in the commenting best practices. You read some of the do's and don'ts and what some of the top programmers do when commenting.
I'm going to read that one.
It is an important concept that most courses overlook. So I highly recommend you read over this. I'll link to it in the resources, and I'll see you in the next video.
Okay. Wait. Stop. I may like to actually read this one.
Welcome back. Let's try and do an exercise to tie everything that we've learned up until now together.
Stop. Exercise. Okay, it's been an hour already. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to be reading this article. Is it big? No, not really. Can I send it directly to my Kindle? There we go. It's on my Kindle now. I'm going to use the opportunity to keep reading the what's the name of the book? Damn it. Wait. It's the Rollo Tomasi book. I don't remember the name of the goddamn book. Oh my god. Please don't be porn. Oh, thank you. Wait. Actually. There we go. It's called The Rational Male. That's a book I'm reading right now. I am about 60-something% of the book. And I believe I'm going to be reading it again because I believe it does have a lot of interesting ideas that I am trying to understand at least or assimilate. But since I do suffer from a serious one-itis and I am a widow, I'm basically finding very difficult to disengage from the matrix, let's so to speak. But anyway, I'm going to be reading, writing comments in Python. Wait, it's a guide just for comments. Oh my god. Why commenting your code is important. Best practices, that's the part he's referring to. Okay, I'm going to be reading this on my own time. Well, thanks for coming if you indeed are, and I'm going to be learning Python tomorrow. Thank you, and see you later.